everybody. Look who's still here.
Yeah.
Purple Rain, are you froze or are you good? Purple Rain, are you there? It's gonna be a negative. I think she's froze up. Come back!
I wasn't frozen. I was fixing my privacy on my live.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I could fully hear you. You must couldn't hear me.
No, we could not.
Okay. You can hear me now, though?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can.
Okay.
Oh, let's see, smile.
Y'all love me. Don't act like you don't.
course, of course.
Devilish is more like it, not sweet.
I'm an angel.
Oh. Hello, Lorenzo.
Oh my god.
Hi, Lorenzo. Lorenzo, she over here choking because I said I'm a sweet angel.
We are still having problems putting the show in the groups on Facebook. Has nothing to do with us. Something to do with the meta, whatever. So we can't put it in the groups. But you guys can still join us. We got different ways. You can come on my YouTube channel. The pages, you can join through the pages that we have. And that's
My YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? I am an angel. See, even Lorenzo believes what I said. He even agrees.
And I say, again.
Wow.
Excuse me, I just sneezed.
Oh,
I bet you did.
It was a big sneeze. It was big.
only a friend's boy. Wow.
Hey, everybody, come on in. Tell a friend. Yes. Hopefully next week I'll have the workaround so that we can get back to having all of our people join us. I just got to take some time and sit and figure it out. But I'll do that next week.
Yeah, once I get my computer back up and running, I'll be able to figure out on my end too.
So yeah, it has to do with Meta. It doesn't have to do with us. Something Meta didn't sign a contract to let third parties do something, and so yeah, here we are.
I mean, TikTok ain't got half the music they had no more because of the contract they didn't want to sign with Universal. So I mean, they all doing it.
I heard they signed.
I think they finally signed. Yeah.
Yeah, they signed. So they said they'll start to see the music come back up slowly but surely. But then again, in the United States, the government is trying to get rid of TikTok. So there you have it.
Because the government is up to something.
Exactly. Hello, everybody.
Well. So next week I'll have to be doing this from home. I'll have to be doing this from home. And I don't know how I'll be able to live myself.
What a crybaby. What a crybaby.
I got so accustomed to this.
He's leaving Thursday. He's going back to. He's complained about our weather here in Cleveland. I do not understand why.
Because when you step outside, it feels like I'm stepping into my fridge. It feels like I'm opening my fridge and looking and pulling an apple from the top of the fridge. And it's not a fridge. It's just your wind. The wind is cold.
There's something wrong with y'all. It was not cold. It felt good.
I live I live in a hot box. Okay, it's hot every day of the year. They come across here and everything cold.
It's not even cold. That's what I'm trying to like explain to him that this is not cold.
See, that's my point. This cold to me, and it's not actually cold to y'all, which means that when they come in November, I can be an ice box. I can be inhaling. I can be inhaling icicles.
Bicycles.
Icicles.
Icicles. I thought you said bicycle, like as in a bike with two wheels
No,
and
no, no,
pedals.
no. Ice.
Right now, he's being a pussy in the panty waist. That's what he's being. Okay.
Ah.
Well,
He wasn't cold when he was getting that massage at EEE. Exactly.
No, I wasn't cold then at all. It was very, very warm. Very hot.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother, for stepping up. Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I know. I gotta get some.
Telling y'all.
I don't have the money right now.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome, everyone. Hey,
Come on.
Jalen. Hey.
Hey, Jalen.
Everybody,
Miss you.
Once again, want to let everybody know we'll be saying this periodically just so we can remind folks. If you know people that wanted to be on the show and they usually get through on our group pages, there is an issue. Has nothing to do with us. It's between Meta and third-party streaming. We're not able to connect right now on Facebook, but we can through our pages and through our personal pages. So I know some of you may have missed the show last week. We were having the same problem. There is a workaround. It's just kind of lengthy, and I need to take some time to figure it out. And as you can see, I have Barbados with me, so I have not been able to really just stop for a moment, and because I wanted to show him my city and have you had a good time?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Guess what he did today, folks? Why don't you share with everyone?
Well, other than going to Five Guys and enjoying actual a good burger and fries, I actually what was it? I pumped gas today. I've never done that before.
I'm still tripping over that.
I'm like, we have gas attendants.
And what is the reason why you don't pump your own gas at home?
Because we have people to do it. Like there's
That's an actual job.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Hasn't been a job in the United States in about 30 to 40 years, but
yes. But there is a gas station over there by your old apartment here in Indy, JewCee, that still does it too.
Well, I know which one you're talking about. It's off of 30th.
Yep.
Right off of 30th. Yeah, I don't think they do it anymore.
No, they do. I just went over there the other day.
Okay. Yeah, there was one by my old apartment complex. That was the last time I've ever had my gas. Wow. But today Robert learned, I taught him how to pump gas. He's never we did not blow up gas station. We did not blow up my car.
I was so surprised. I was really expecting to have to run for my life, but we got it done. Yes.
Yeah, we don't we pump gas.
No, I'm gonna work till 7.
We pump gas. That's what we do in the United States. We get out of the car, put the gas in our own car. Okay, it's very rare nowadays that you can find a gas station that even has an attendant that would know how to pump the gas for you personally. So he went to Five Guys. If you guys didn't understand the accent, because he kept telling me he wanted a burger. So we went to Five Guys today, and he had a burger.
Yes.
2 patties. He had 2 patties. And so he enjoyed that and fries. Mm-hmm. I've taken him to Olive Garden. Now, mind you, he loved Olive.
Yes, we need to figure out how to get Olive Garden to Barbados. I need to figure out how to get Olive Garden to Barbados. Five Guys can come too, but what I really, really want is one of y'all soda pop things.
Sorry.
I want one of them home because Well,
So he's talking about the Coke machines that you will find at Five Guys. They're at Moe's. So they're the Coke dispenser machines that you go in and you push the button, and they have like about 50 different flavors on there. They got like 8 flavors of Sprite, 8 flavors of High C, different flavors of Coke, stuff
wait, there are different flavors of Sprite too.
of Sprite. Yeah,
Okay, we gotta go back.
we got to go back. Let me tell you, he had before we even ate, he was on his second cup.
Are you talking about the Coke, like the Coke 64, the freestyle machine?
Yeah, you push the button and you can get, water.
Whatever flavor of whatever drink. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's never seen that before. He's decided
Well,
that
they don't have fast food restaurants, so that makes sense.
he's decided that he is
He,
going to order.
he wants
Probably,
he wants to purchase one.
I've told him to order through Coke to get one. That's what I see. That was
I mean, that's the only thing I could come up with.
order through Coke. I'll try to get their distribution area so he can call their headquarters.
You know, I mean, that would be my assumption.
Hey, Rod.
Hey, Rod.
That's what I was trying to. Yeah. So yeah. So he's where else have we gone? I'm forgetting. We went there.
Buffalo Wild Wings. We did that.
Yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, I love that. We need to get that in Barbados too. I'm just saying.
He liked Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah. And that bar we went to, Rudy's.
We went to my neighborhood bar. We went to Rudy's. Got to give a shout out to my girl Angie. Yes, she got him straight. She did. No, she fucked him up.
Yeah, that was not straight. That was not straight. That was very fucked up because it was bourbon. It was a bourbon smoothie which I'd never had before, and I was sweet up the cat.
He was fucked up.
I slept very well.
He was knocked out. We just had to get him up the stairs. That was it.
So you're getting people drunk. I see you're letting them experience a lot of first. You're feeding them food they can't get in their hometown. You doing a lot. Y'all having a ball over there. I'm in the wrong city.
Yeah, yes, you are.
Right.
Yes, you are.
And tomorrow he's gonna have my Italian beef. It's cooking right now. It's slow cooks. It's starting to smell.
Let me just go ahead and quit my job right now because I need your Italian beef in my life. Okay.
Italian beef is cooking, so he's getting Italian beef because that's usually something I cook in the winter.
Well, it feels
so to you it's winter.
It feels
so
like it does.
It is not the winter time, Robert.
I'm trying to tell him.
It feels.
This is hot for us.
Right. This is perfect weather. We got the fan going. It's nice. It's nice. So
he want us in here dying in 100-degree temperature heat and shit.
Well, that's how I live at home. So I'm just saying.
Yep. Nope. This ain't home. This is the States. We get other weather.
Yeah, we get other weather, and you could get all of it in one day. I'm just saying it's.
Especially here in the Midwest. Yeah. You can wake up to the winter, go to bed to the spring.
Yeah. It just depends on how Mother Nature's feeling that day.
It might snow and rain in the same day and hail. You think God is coming at that point.
Yeah. So yeah. So this is I think he's enjoying himself. He'll leave the States on early Thursday morning. So
hey, Thundercat.
Look at him, he's counting down. Hey,
we miss you too.
Miss you. Thundercat!
Unite!
Love it.
So we got a great topic tonight.
Very
hot topic, and a very, very important topic that I would like to tackle tonight. So the two topics that I am not afraid to talk about, and a lot of people are sex and, believe it or not, death and dying. So those are my two areas of
She
expertise.
should have been a mortician, y'all.
My cousin was. I mean, what can I say? It was, hey, God rest his soul. Hey, Bobby. Um, so, um, why I got into what we're going to talk about tonight is we're talking actually about mourning your relationships, and it's not going to be typically what you think it's going to be. It sounds kind of, it's going to be morbid. No, it's not. But it's something that I think a lot of people don't do, and it's a lot of people rush into another relationship before they have really had a chance to um, mourn or get over or move forward or move on from a past relationship. I find this a lot in my coaching. I find this a lot in my conversations with people in the car. And I've even done it myself. And I'm sure all of us have at one particular point in time, maybe when we were younger or whatever the case may be. Um, and it's, especially since we're indoctrinated to believe that we have to be in some kind of a relationship. um I know for me as a woman, I always had a boyfriend. I've had a boyfriend since kindergarten. I always had a boyfriend. I had a boyfriend in kindergarten to sixth grade, same boyfriend. Myron Wong, I've never forgotten him. Then I had a high school boy or junior high for 3 years. His name was Billy. And then I had Timothy Levi Coleman, hello, my high school sweetheart. So always involved with someone for all of those years. And then, of course, I wound up go to college, met my former husband. I needed to be a wife, a fiance, all those kinds of things. I've been engaged 3 times, married twice. Um, it, so I've always felt like I belonged to somebody, that because that was kind of how I was raised. Part of the '60s. You're with somebody. What about you? What about for men?
Well, for me, um I wouldn't say that I always had somebody, but when I got when I got somebody, I got my first official girlfriend at about 19, and married her at 23. Was with her for about 10 years, divorced, and then got married again. Um, and and then divorced her as well. So I definitely know the idea of mourning, recognizing the idea of mourning my relationships, because we can get into that. But like I part of the reason why I found myself not writing as much is getting through that last relationship. Me and my last ex-wife, that devastated me when she left, or when I left, really. But when we broke up, and I was like, we can't do this anymore. It shut me down, and it shut me down for 4 or 5 years. And it's only within the last couple of years that I'm able to start writing again. So, you know, the idea of mourning is very true, and I that's how that's I concur. I understand that.
How about you, Purple Rain?
Well, I grew up in the '80s, so my mom and my parents was that you ain't have no relationship till you 30 phase. So there was no dating till I was like 16. Don't say you got a boyfriend. We don't want to see it coming. Like they were just really strict and made you afraid to be in a relationship, because my dad used to tell me kissing is what gets you pregnant.
Mm,
Being a kid, you don't think about it as kissing leads to sex, leads to pregnancy. You think you get pregnant from kissing. So
mm,
my parents ruled with the fear
right,
aspect,
right.
and literally I didn't date until I was 16. Like on my 16th birthday, I was so excited because the guy that I had been talking to and flirting with, we can officially come out on my sweet 16, right? that's how my life was for me. And
Mhm.
then being an adult, I got married after to my ex-husband after only being together 6 months. We divorced after 5 years and a son. After my divorce, I never really, not that I didn't take relationships seriously, but I think because I took so long to grieve what happened in my marriage, I did not take anybody's bullshit. So technically, I've been single for 11 years. Like, I've dated, but I
Right.
won't ever say that I've been in a relationship.
Right.
I've
Okay.
not cohabitated. I've not lived with. I've not shared bills with. I've not raised kids with. To me, that's a relationship, at least in the aspect the way I see it now.
Mhm.
I consider everything else dating, because if I'm paying all my own bills, you paying all your own bills, and we don't talk to each other about stuff. We take separate trips. We don't travel together. Nothing we do. Majority of what we do is separate. We're
Yeah.
not in a relationship.
Okay. Makes sense.
Okay. So a lot of people, when we're talking, and this was actually, hey Moses, want to acknowledge you. We see you, and no, we're not starting over, sir. You can always go back and watch from the beginning.
We
We
just started, Moses. Don't come on here with that bullshit. Hey, BN, how are you?
so one of the things that one of my practical in college was actually to teach death and dying. With my
That
history,
would be your practical in college.
it was, and I was very. Here's the thing. I had went through a lot, as a lot of you know. I lost my father when I was 16, my mother when I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
I went on to do my practical in college. I had options of what I could talk about for a week and teach the class. And I asked, my professor, would it be okay if I did this particular class, because I didn't have it, you know, and I went through a very traumatic time, especially when you're talking about a teenager. And I was working with teenagers at the time because that's what I wanted to teach. And so she was like, "Yes, let's do this." And so she was with me I had the lesson plan and 5 days and um everything that I wanted to put together for this, so that I could help any students that went through what I went through as a teenager, because nobody can really prepare you for something like this. There's not really a preparation that you're going to find out. But because I did tell my story and I shared my story with the students, and we did this for 5 days. I got an A+ on it, by the way. Because I did all of that. Um, there was a young man in the class, and I found this out later on during the summer break. His father was an electrician there in Terre Haute, and his father worked for the light company. And unfortunately, his father was killed in a freak accident on the pole on the job. And I saw this young man later on, um, and he just hugged me. He came. I didn't really recognize him at first, but he recognized me, and he just hugged me. And he was like, "If it wasn't for you, I would not have been able to get through this." Um, so I was very happy. I taught the class,
Yeah.
and it went on to help several of the students understand what they were going through, because a lot of times we don't talk about death and dying, just like we don't talk about sex. I think some people think if we don't talk about sex or we don't talk about death and dying, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Shit.
So that's not that's not it, folks. It's gonna happen, okay?
I'm
The
gonna
one,
say this, especially when it comes to sex.
yeah, and
My daughter's friend was adopted. Her mother was older and didn't talk to her about sex.
Mhm.
The little girl had a baby in high school.
mhm. And so when we don't have these conversations, and I can understand why we don't have the conversations, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have them. We need to have these conversations, and some of these conversations are difficult. I understand that as well. But death and dying is something that we all do. It does not matter how much money you have, what you do for a living, what your religious preferences are. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, where you come from, who you know.
We all are born
We
and
all
we all
live
die
and we all die.
and we
Exactly.
all bleed.
And
Yes.
what we do with that dash in between
It's called life.
is what's important.
Yeah.
And it be lifing.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes. So I don't mind talking about death and dying, and I don't mind talking about sex because these are two topics that tend to ruffle people's feathers. And death and dying seems to be the topic that people find out, oh, I may not be immortal. Yeah, you may not be. Okay. So it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to plan. It's okay to have a will. It's okay to have a living will. It's okay to have your affairs in order. It's okay to talk about this topic because we all must pass this way. We all must pass this way. Not only do we do this in the physical form of our bodies, but as we get into relationships, we all have some relationships last. Okay, we have some relationships that might last forever. But even if death do us part, this is something that we need to talk about as well with the death and dying, because people go through stages. They go through stages in order to get a way to accept the loss. And a lot of us don't understand these stages of grief. Whether you're losing a loved one to death, or whether your relationship is breaking up,
Yeah.
grief is something that we all go through with our relationships, whether it's your working relationship, okay, whether it's a friendship that maybe you guys have known each other since you were toddlers and you had a falling out, um whether it's in my instance, when I was injured in the last accident and almost truly almost died and almost lost my whole leg. My whole life changed because I'm disabled now. So my old life, the way I used to be, is gone. I was suicidal at one point, because I didn't understand what I was going through. I didn't understand that I was grieving my former life.
Right.
So there are things that we go through and we don't realize, because all we think of when we talk about death and dying, or when we talk about grieving, is someone that actually dies. We don't always put grief with a marriage, with a divorce, with a breakup of a friendship, with changing something that changes over our bodies, with moving, okay, with losing your job. Let's say you've been at your job several years and all of a sudden you don't have that job anymore. So there's a lot that we go through that grief actually takes place, but because we don't label it as grief, we don't really actually know how to handle some of the situations that are going on. Does that kind of make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All the sense in the world.
Ironically,
What you laughing at?
The way you said it.
I was saying, ironically though, I'm actually, for those who don't know, I'm an editor by profession. That's what I do. I help people write books, and I'm actually helping a person back home write a book about grief, the five stages of grief. So that's actually, it ties in again into my life in another way, because I'm actually helping her write this bar. She's written the book and I'm editing it and putting it out there. So she's trying to, in her way, get people to understand grief, from her perspective as a believer. So that's the is rather interesting. But yeah, the idea of losing, people think about death and grief, or grief as it relates to physical death. But I can for sure that you mentioned losing a friend. I had a best friend of like 17 years, and up to this day I have no idea why she starts talking to me. I Up to now I have no idea why she started talking to me, and I can remember when it was like obvious that she had pulled away from me, and like it was a cadre. It was three of us. It was like three of us, and me and my best friend were together like 17 years. This other guy came into the group, and he was there a couple of years too. And for some strange reason, the two of them gang up, and they had decided they're not speaking to me anymore. Up to this day, I have no idea why, but I can remember like calling the guy on the phone and begging him to explain to me what happened. Let me fix it. Let me know what's going on. And it took a while before I just was able to basically just put it aside and move on. To the point where people knew that she and I were so tight that when she came and when she emigrated to the United States and I was not at the airport, people call my phone. I'm like, why are you not here? I'm like, but by that time I had cut I had my heart was hard at that point. And I was like, why? For what reason? Why should I go? Because she doesn't want anything to do with me. I'm not wasting my gas or everything to go to say goodbye to you. But that hurt.
Mhm.
That hurt. Up to today, I mean, I can talk about it without. Oh, I'm talking about, and then another set of grief. It took me it took me about 15 years to actually enjoy pets because I
Yep,
lost
that's another one. Hmm.
I lost my chihuahua, um, who was really a best friend, who got eaten pretty much by the pit bull next door, and that I swore off of animals, all
Hmm.
pets, for about 15 to 20 years, and it's only within the last literally only within the last since about 2000 that I'm able actually to say hi and like to greet pets. My parents have two dogs. When I first moved back home, I didn't want nothing to do with them dogs. Nothing. But now,
Hmm.
now having healed from that pain,
Hmm.
I'm able to embrace the dogs, have them run to me and pet them and feel happy that they're there. But the first time that I was home, I the only reason they didn't get kicked on a regular basis is because they were my father's dogs and he would have a cow. But
Kick
yeah,
the dog. Kick the dog.
I literally was
I
I
mean,
I had
I'm with
nothing.
him when he's right. I think that's why I don't want a dog because I lost my what would be considered my first dog. She went into heat, as all dogs do when they turn a year. She wasn't necessarily ready, but we had a house full of dogs, and so she made it. But she got depressed from it. Didn't feed the puppies. All the puppies passed. She made it again. Again, I don't know if mentally she just wasn't there, and because of the first time it happened and how it happened.
Mm,
Um, got pregnant again. Had all the puppies. This time she stopped eating, and I had to put her to sleep.
whoa,
Mm.
that is painful.
And now I won't let myself get attached to dogs. Like my daughter loves her dog, and I get annoyed when he comes sit on my neck because he's a little cocker spaniel, and he will come just like how I have this stuffy right here.
Mhm.
He'll come sit right here in my face and lick on all on me, and I'm like, "Why are you bothering me?"
I had it was actually because of my it was because of my friend who had a dog who has a dog who lives in their house.
Mhm.
That's how I got over it because I'm coming to visit their house. I can't tell them to put out that dog lives there. I had to deal with it. So when just like Purple Rain said, when the little dog, the little chihuahua or whatever the caucus, what he was he was a fox terrier. But anyhow, when she came and she like all on me and thing, I at first I was just pushing her away, pushing her away, and pushing her away. But over the year, I can remember the day that I thought about her. It was a Christmas time, and in Barbados, Christmas means ham. We buy ham, we eat ham. All is ham season.
Ooh, that sound good.
Oh yeah, a baked ham. Anyway, let me not start there because I gonna get sidetracked. But a baked ham, yeah.
Stay focused.
Focus. Right. But yes, and so I had bought a ham for myself. I'd eaten the ham, and I had the ham bone. And what I would have done, I lived by myself, I would just throw the ham bone away. But I had this thought: let me give Faye this bone as a Christmas gift. Like I thought about the dog. I thought about and I actually, I wrapped it up in foil, but I went and presented it to the dog, and she went, she took it, and she was all knowing and happy with it, and that's when I realized that I had healed. Because I actually thought about the dog and wanted to give her something instead of a kick to the ass.
Well, thank God. So with these, and everything that you guys are saying are part of the 5 stages that you go through of grief. And some people, you sometimes you can switch the order a little bit, but I just want to give you guys, just so you know, and we're going to discuss them a little bit, but I'm going to give you the 5 stages. Now, some writings have more, some have, some say there's like 8 stages. There's different books out there, but I do like the 5 stages because to me, that's pretty clear and concise. You know how I am about that. So I think that just having the 5 stages keeps it simple, and it keeps it where people can manage it. You can manage it, and you can understand where these come from. So the 5 stages of grief are denial, and you guys can think about this as you all have been talking, but we're talking about denial. Then we have anger, we have bargaining, we have depression, and then we have acceptance. So before you get to number 5, when you start out, you're on your way to accepting what has transpired, what has ended. Okay, whether it's a life, whether it's a job, whether it's you're on your way. But a lot of people don't. Like when I was in my accident, I didn't think about that. But I didn't think about my life. My life didn't end. I was still alive, but my life as I knew it had changed drastically. And I wasn't accepting of it. I was in a lot of pain. I was on a lot of drugs. I couldn't move like I used to. I was wheelchair bound for 3.5 months. And then what your body does when you can't walk is my leg atrophied and my muscles, I had to go through therapy for almost a year. So there was a lot to this process, but at the same time, in my mind, I'm thinking, I should just be able to do this, and this. Why can't I just do this, and this? Not realizing, no, I can't. So I did battle depression. I did battle denial. If I just do this, I'll get better. If I just take this medication, it's supposed to make the pain go away. If I just do da 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 da, none of that stuff really worked. So denial is a common defense mechanism used to protect oneself from hardship of considering an upsetting reality. So we tend to deny it, like deny.
Denial is a river in Egypt.
Yes, it is. It's not just a river in Egypt. My father used to say, deny until you die. So don't tell the truth. I'm like looking at him like, what? So denial is really, something that we go through, especially like with a relationship, when we're trying to deny a relationship ending. It even gets a little more complicated. It manifests as disbelief. People might say that they can't believe that this has happened. um it's like a bad dream. They may try to look for solutions like therapy or couples counseling, even though the problems um were there prior to the breakup. But they're trying to deny that what they're going through or what is happening really is happening.
Correct.
So denial, but it's also your first step to accepting the change. I hope that makes sense. That's the first step, to accepting the change that's taking place in your life. Next is anger. Anger is commonly experienced and expressed by patients as they concede the reality of a terminal. We're going to talk about terminal illness. But anger is also experienced when you realize that your relationship is over. How many of you have tore up the house?
Me.
How many of you have destroyed items that your ex might have given you?
No, I don't think I ever did that.
I've slashed some tires.
Oh shit.
Okay, there you go.
I busted out the little window in the back of the car. You know that one that's real expensive to fix?
Oh,
And it wasn't his car, but it was the he cheated on me with car. So yeah, I did that. And all four tires so that insurance wouldn't cover it.
Oh my word.
oopsie. So well, there's some anger management in there somewhere.
I've had anger management since. I had to. I had to grieve my divorce and heal. I told you I've been grieving for 11 years.
so here's the thing. The anger part, I mean, the anger part is natural. The anger part is natural. But when you're getting to that point, there are some things that you can do for, to not make it so bad, because sometimes some people get a little carried away. You get a little carried away, and I get it. We all get it. You might black out for a second, you might black out for a second. But you want to try to keep your wits about you. But all of this, once again, that's step 2. You're on your way to accepting, quote unquote, for lack of a better term, the inevitable. You're on your way. So that's one thing I hope that people will remember if you watch this show. If you want to be understanding what you're going through, and you can recognize it so that you don't take it too far, so that these feelings, are the anger, the depression, the the bargaining, all of these are valid. They're very valid feelings to have, especially when you're in a relationship. Maybe you've been in the relationship for a long time. Maybe you've invested 20 years, maybe you've invested 18 years, maybe you've invested, you know, some people fall hard. Maybe you've just invested 3 months, but it's felt like 30 years.
Yep. I say all the time about my ex, my last ex. I worship the ground she walked on, and when we broke up, it crushed me. And so literally, I understand that whole aspect of anger. For sure, there was lots of anger. Thank God she was in a different country, because I don't know, but that was painful.
Mhm.
It was painful.
Lorenzo says, "Let me retract my little angel agreement from earlier."
I'm an angel now, Lorenzo. This is before I was fully lifestyle. The man lied and took my child around his other woman and
Wow.
lied and lied and lied again. Yes, I slashed tires and broke windows. I'm still a Scorpio, god damn it.
Got that sting.
When my stinger stings, it stings.
Hmm. Damn, boy.
Get me in my feelings. God damn it.
Lord. Okay. Tell us how you really feel. No, don't. No, don't do it.
I'm
So,
I'm an angel now. I don't harbor no ill feelings. I'm a good girl.
okay. Um, it says anger. The anger stage often involves fuming, raging about the former partner, or even projecting anger onto friends, society, or family. During this stage, those who are prone to, I don't know what that is, dysregulation, I guess, dysregulation, may display deeply angry behaviors at the former partner, which this would have been Purple Rain, or at material items, which would have been purple rain, related to the partner. For example, throwing away personal belongings associated with the ex partner or slashing their tires. There you go. But being angry is not always a bad thing. When we pause to feel our sadness, anger, and frustration, we are giving our feelings a chance to breathe. And I do agree with
Anger's
that
not that
statement.
bad.
I do agree with that statement because a lot of times we don't take that moment to be um
To recognize you're angry
yeah,
and set to let that anger flow through. What happens with not actually having done that is that the anger bottles up.
yep.
And what happens when it bottles up? It explodes. And you know what I mean? So for sure, I think I had that anger for a very long time and I didn't have an outlet. I
Right.
didn't know how to like for me my poetry is my outlet for most of my writing, right? The reason why I write erotica is because I'm horny. If I'm writing something, if I'm happy, I write a happy poem, that kind of thing. I was so shut down that I could not write, and it took me 4 years to write the poem. I've never given it to my ex-wife, but I have it still on my phone. It's called Releasing, and I had to just spew it out, and write it out and get it out before I could I guess you could say really move on.
And it does tell you different ways to kind of channel your anger, get some hobbies. I know they talk about kickboxing or dancing or walking or swimming. Just get some things that are some activities. Get your activity level up so that you're not sitting around constantly staying in that state of anger, because actually it's good to release it, because if you bottle it up, you can also cause yourself some physical issues as well, like ulcers, headaches, migraines, um, not eating correctly, not sleeping correctly. So there's a lot of things that can go along with this that are whereas you may feel that you're getting back at the person, you're also possibly harming yourself on different levels as well. So it is important to release that anger, to be able to find different ways to release it. Sometimes maybe it's taking some yoga, maybe it's chanting, maybe it's breathing, maybe it's meditating, but you have to find a way to go through that moment but come out on the other side a better person, as opposed to just staying there. Where I think some of the issues come in for some people is they stay in the anger stage way too long.
Right.
They
They
don't they don't forgive. It's one thing to forget, but you still need to forgive. And like people say it all the time, and especially pastors, forgiveness isn't for you. I mean, isn't for them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It's
true.
it's for you.
Right.
and the thing of it is I'm one of those I'm the type of person that I can forgive, I just can't forget.
Now,
I
I
can,
ain't gonna never forget. I'm
I'm
not
not
saying
going to
nobody to
forget.
forget.
Right. I'm not going to forget, but I can forgive. And then like they say, the forgiveness isn't so much for that person as it is for myself.
Right. I mean, just because I'm forgiving you doesn't mean I'm gonna let you back in.
Right.
Right. Like me, I've had conversations with my ex-wife, ever so often, but one day she calls, one day she came on to, like, we had a conversation via um social media, and she was like, she came on, she was crying, she said she was crying, she was looking at the wedding videos, the wedding thing, the wedding photos. I was remembering, and it was like, bitch, you realize, you finally realize, well, you left, you finally realize what you lost, and you feel sorry now. Like, sorry, but that ain't gonna happen. So, like, honestly, he's like, you are sad now. I was sad 4 years ago. You can, and I've forgiven her, yeah, but there's no way in hell we can get back together again, because
Well, and then a lot of times people don't realize you lose trust.
there's that.
We talked about that before. That's one of the key things as to why relationships kind of stay broken or
Mm,
don't always work out, because people, it's not so much what you did is as it is that whatever it is that you did, if you betrayed my trust, I can't trust you.
mm,
Yep.
I can't trust you. It's just like if you're telling me here we are trying to work it out, and you say I'm going to the store and I'm gonna be gone 10 minutes, and you're gone 11. To me, you broke here once again. You have to be in the mindset of the person. Once again, you broke my trust. You said you were gonna be gone 10 minutes. You were gone 11.
And you didn't communicate about that 11th minute.
Right? You
yeah.
didn't communicate. So we don't. I don't know where you are. I don't know what you're doing. And a lot of people think that that might be petty, but it's not, because you're trying to rebuild the trust.
Mm.
And you have to understand, I know a lot of people will tell you, even with relationships, a lot of people will, oh girl, get over him. Oh girl, get, you know what I mean? Just get over it. Just get over it. That come on.
That don't work.
That don't work.
That
That
don't
don't
work.
work. And if you truly care about somebody, I call it residual. There's always going to be some residual uh, feelings that are going to pop up, maybe at the wrong time, or it's a holiday, or it's their birthday, or maybe you're just a song comes on, or a movie that you all watch together. Maybe there's a food that you all made together or something. Sometimes there's this residual that pops up and brings back good memories.
Good memory.
um, but you got to remember, a lot of times there's a reason why the two of you are not together anymore. And don't always look at the afterglow of the situation. So the next one is, let me get it, bargaining, which is always fabulous. So we're always trying to bargain. And sometimes that's not really a good thing. Um, even in, like, someone that is terminally ill, they're typically trying to manifest, um, seeking some measure of control over, basically they're trying to seek some measurement of control over their illness. Well, when you're talking about, bargaining, also, they may be the kind of thing, well, if they're religious, they may like say something along the lines, well, God, if you let me live, you know 2 more days, or if I do this, I can get this.
Mm.
You're trying to bargain your way through what is going on, and that doesn't always turn out so good. But with bargaining, often arises in the form of wishful thinking, or actually reaching out to the former partner to reconnect. For example, a person might call an ex and say, we should give things another try. I promise I'll do better this time. I'll even go to therapy if you think this will help. So, bargain typically is used as some sort of negotiation to avoid the pain your feeling and get back to the feeling better. You might even try to get your mutual friends or family involved or try to convince. Another thing about bargaining, I want people to be very, very careful of. Be very, very careful of a narcissist. Be very careful of a narcissist trying to get you
They
back.
bargain a lot.
Yes, they do. And along with the bargaining is the lie.
Yep.
Okay?
They use the lie to bargain.
Yes. I'm gonna go to counseling. We're gonna go to counseling. Have no if you come home, it'll be different. This is also not just a narcissist, this is also an abuser. Physical people that are being abused or mentally abused or emotionally abused, you have to watch out for this particular point, because a lot of times they're just trying to get you back. If you've walked away from someone that is a narcissist or somebody that has physically, emotionally, or mentally abused you, stay gone. Just exit stage left. You've exited, stay gone. Do not listen to this portion, because they will try to manipulate the situation to try to get back in your good graces, and their behavior technically has not changed. And if you go back to some of our previous shows, it's probably been over a year or so, we did talk about the cycle of abuse and how it goes around and keeps going around and around and around. They're good for a couple of months. Then you start to see a little bit of a trigger, and here they go. They're starting. And all of a sudden on month 4, they're full blown acting the way that they're not supposed to be acting towards you. So be very, very leery of the bargaining stage. If you have been involved with someone that is a narcissist, somebody that's abusive, they're not necessarily using bargaining as a way to get you back or as a way that they've changed. They're using it as a way to manipulate you. Do you agree with that?
Agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
That one is so that one's a little tricky, just a little tricky, but
Well, when it comes to a loss as far as um losing a loved one, though, bargaining sometimes can show itself in a way where you're saying, God, please bring them back to me, like meaning that loved one that's either sick or ill or that passed. And I promise I'll do right this time. Or, like you said, if you're on your deathbed and you bargain with God. But a lot of people bargain in, as far as grief is concerned, a lot of people bargain at the casket.
mm-hmm,
Take me, Lord.
right.
Why her, not me? Stuff like that.
Yeah, and it happens, it happens. I know how I felt when I lost my grandmother. I was prepared to get in the casket with her. My family had to keep me out of it. I was like, I'm going with you. You know, um, they were afraid I was going to jump in because I was very close to
I
my
swear,
grandmother.
I think it might be something wrong with me because even though I've grieved all of my loved ones that have passed, I was at peace with all of my loved ones that passed. Like I never overly grieved or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my sad moments. I miss them. I think about them. But a lot of stuff that a lot of people do when they grieve, like a lot of people think I'm cold hearted because I'm not affected in that way by death. And maybe because I've always been open and talking about death, that I see it as we do two things: we live and we die.
Hmm.
That is the two things that we all do as humans. And even in the deaths that I've experienced that I felt like happened too soon, my grief was more internal than outwardly how most people show grief.
Okay. And here's the thing. I want everybody also to really understand this. Everybody grieves differently. Stop trying to put a time limit on it. Stop trying to say Get over it. You should be fine. It's been years. It's been lost daddy when I was 16, lost my mother when I was 17. Certain things roll around, holidays, football season, Valentine's, whatever, Christmas, their birthdays, their anniversary, just a song or something, and it could hit me like a bag of like a bag of bricks. It might just now, it may not be like it was when I first lost them, but there is still those moments in time where I sit back and I reflect, or I wish they were here to physically see things or to physically talk to them. Um, there's no time limit on grief. There really isn't. Whether it's grieving a loved one or whether it's grieving a relationship. Nobody
Mhm.
wants their marriage to, yeah, I'm getting married so I can have my marriage fail.
Right.
Nobody's who said that at the altar? Anybody? Who said, I'm marrying you so this doesn't work?
Exactly.
Who says that?
I
Nobody.
don't think anybody does.
Nobody.
Even
So
if they don't believe that till death do us part, they don't say it.
right. Nobody's standing up there going, okay, well, our marriage is going to fail next week. Are you good with that? Yeah. Or our marriage is going to fail in like 4 months, 4 years. Are you good with that? How do you feel? Okay, that's good. It, nobody does that. Nobody does that. Everybody believes in this. Unfortunately, to me, it is now, as I've learned, a bit of an old fashioned thought process, but being antiquated is what we are based on for our marriages. And so we're asking the impossible sometimes in some instances, some people that are never not going to cheat. But you know, that's just the way they're built. But
That's
because
why I'm ethically non-monogamous. I
that's
don't believe
right.
that
So
monogamy it works for humans. I don't believe that it works for humans.
here we are
We
believing
are
it.
we are mammals. Mammals are not monogamous.
Here we are believing almost to what we believe or what I believe is a crock of crap. Um, saving myself for one person. It doesn't fucking work. Okay. But anyway, but
Why he
nobody
gets to spread his seed to millions. I'm
right,
sorry.
right, right. He's out here willy nilly. Willy. The willy is nilly. The willy is nillying. Okay. And I gotta sit at home with my legs crossed. I'm gonna need you to make that make sense. But when you're talking about the whole process, you have to look at how we were raised. You have to look at what are your expectations. A lot of us, we don't talk about those expectations. We go to like what, 4 counseling sessions with a pastor who never asks the right questions. I don't feel, and now we're married. Till death do us part.
See, if I do it again, I'm going in with my own list of questions. They don't think I'm crazy. They
No,
already think I'm crazy, but
but it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff nowadays. There's a lot of things that are irrelevant to making your relationship actually work, and a lot of the questions that need to be asked are not going to be asked by the priest, especially when we're talking about sex. You're not going to find out that maybe your husband is a switch hitter. It's not going to happen at that conversation. It just is not.
I mean, that's a conversation we need to have. Do you like to be pegged? Do you like men and women? Do you
Right,
like Tell me so I know what to expect up front.
Right. I find now that it, how do I say this? Coming out of my relationships, coming out of my monogamous relationships, my marriages, I've come to the conclusion that I got exposed to the
Good to know, Ben.
the ethical non-monogamy. I got exposed to being open and being polyamorous. and I'm never going back. So, but what that means is when I'm in the middle of when I feel like I'm when I see somebody that I'm interested in, that's when the first conversations I have, because you are not going to tie me down and tell me, oh, the day that you look at me and say, oh, you got to get rid of all your subs, you got to get rid of, oh, sorry, bye bye. The day that you look at me and tell me I gotta stop being what I am, I gotta start talking to these people that have, although I have not been physically with them, I have been with them in relationship for 6 years, 8 years, 9 years, and you just came into my life, and I have to stop my conversations, my relationship with my husband. That happened one time with a girl that I actually was very in, like I liked her. I liked her. Yes, I told her about the online relationships and stuff like that or whatever. She said, "Okay, we can do this." And then the first time we had sex, her next thing out to me is like, "Well, I am here. I am physically here. You've touched me. You don't know. You haven't seen them." I'm like, "Bitch, you've been in my life for 5 fucking minutes. They've been in my life for 6 years, 7 years." And it hurt because I liked her.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not stopping me from being who I am. No, it's
I
not.
lead every guy that inboxed me, because I've not met in, well, you know what? I've met a couple of guys in person, face to face, and shown interest. I lead every conversation by saying I am ethically non-monogamous. Are
Mm-hmm.
you looking for monogamy? If yes, if you are looking for monogamy and children, or for me to have more children, we good. There's no more conversation to be had, because even if I don't interact with other men the rest of my life, there are women in my life that I don't plan on giving up. So again, if you're not into ethically being non-monogamous and not being able to participate with my partners,
Keep moving.
thank you. Have a nice day.
Keep it moving. Bye bye. This train is leaving.
That part.
We had a conversation earlier about the cyclical aspect of one of the things you talked about was a cycle. Do you think that the whole grieving process can be cyclical, which means
I see.
you start off being, and do you have to start off in this order? Let's say that you start off with bargaining or whatever, then you jump down to anger, then you flip back up,
Mm-hmm.
and so is it a cycle? Can it be cyclical? And until you get to that acceptance, do you go through waves, if you want to say,
Mm-hmm.
of grief, where I thought it was good, but then I'm not good anymore, and I have to go through that all over again until I finally accept.
I would say everybody's different. I think that the key, and I might have missed it, but I did say that you don't. It could be in any particular order.
Mm,
It doesn't have to be
Mm-hmm.
in order. It could be in any, because people grieve differently. Um, this
Anger is
order.
always my first. Anger is always my
A lot
first.
of
I don't
people
know
are
why.
angry. A lot of people start to bargain, especially maybe even with, like, we'll say with the illness, or even with let's say the person is showing you signs that they want to break up. Well, I'm gonna maybe I'm bargaining first.
mm,
I'm like, I'm gonna do this. Okay, so maybe I'm not a housekeeper. I don't clean the house. I'm gonna really clean the house. If I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna really clean the house. I'm gonna be, and maybe they do that for a little while, but a lot of times old habits are hard to break, and they might be able to do it for a little while. Um, but then they go right back. Maybe something happens and they go right back to the way they were before. But it's about, can you I think what a lot of people don't do is two things. They don't give themselves enough time, and they don't give themselves enough grace. I think that's where the biggest issue is, because you also, a lot of us, as we all know, we talking to our friends, we talking to our family, we're talking to whoever will listen. We're looking at the internet. We're getting all this outside advice. Well, you should be over him, or you should be over her, or you should be over here doing this, and this. Oh, girl, forget that motherfucker. Go on over here and do this dude, and this guy likes you, and this, that, and the other. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, you really haven't taken that time to accept the breakup or accept what took place, because you're so busy trying to replace what happened or replace this person with another person. And a lot of people do this. We run from one relationship to the next relationship to the next relationship, and we're not healed, and we're not cleansed, and we're still holding on, like Bag Lady song by Erica Badu. We're still holding on to all these bags from our past relationships.
Bag lady.
Right. There you go. You got too much stuff. That's part of the song. Because
You guys,
you hold
you
on.
can't hurry up because you got too much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When they see you coming, it's the song. That song is perfect. I love that
Mm-hmm.
song.
It is about relationships. It's about learning to let go of the stuff. But some of us hold on to it. Not only do we hold on to it, we basically got a chokehold on it. And then we take it to the next relationship. And then we can't understand why that relationship's not working. You bring in all this stuff from and I'm not I'm not a I'm not a male. I can only talk from the female point of view, and I see a lot of females that do this. I did it when I was younger, but I learned very quickly I can't put on someone else what I can't put on my new person what the old person did.
They didn't do it. Don't treat the next person the
Right.
way you feel about the last person. I tell people that all the time. I can't take mentally. I'm not. I can't. You didn't do it, so why am I putting it on you?
But a lot
Why
of
am I
people,
taking my insecurities about being cheated on and putting them on you when you didn't do it?
but you would be surprised how many people do it
Oh, I'm not surprised.
all the time.
I see it all the time.
Mm-hmm. The
Men do
next,
it, women do it, they all do it.
y'all do it. Yeah, we do.
She
The
didn't
next
she
case
didn't
is
do this and she didn't do this or any of that and I don't trust women and yeah. Nope.
that's an exit stage left.
That
Just
part.
just exit. Depression is number 4. Depression is perhaps the most immediately understandable of the stages. The patients experience it with unsurprising symptoms such as sadness, fatigue. I don't know what the heck that is. And so depression is something that I think most of us know about or have dealt with. It can also happen, not only in just illnesses, but also when we're talking about our relationships. And, you don't want to eat. Some of us don't eat, don't sleep, or we overeat. You can be depressed. You don't want to be around people. We stay in the bed. We don't do our normal routine. Um, we're crying, maybe very emotional. Could be crying all the time. And this can be the most lasting of the stages. This one can be the longest if you're not cognizant of what you're going through. You can stay depressed
Years.
for years. Um, depression results from the realization that a person is largely powerless to affect any real change and that the loss is real. This stage involves deep sadness about the loss of a partner, the relationship, and the loss of other factors such as shared friends, family, and family activities. Um, you might experience trouble sleeping or eating, and or indulge in habits that can numb your feelings like drugs or alcohol, shopping, casual sex, or overeating. This is the best stage to reach out to a therapist or medical professional for assistance. It's important to seek support of a psychotherapist if the grief process feels unmanageable or is affecting your ability to function. Breakups can be incredibly stressful and disheartening. Reach out to others so that you don't have to bear the pain alone. Now, when you're doing that, you don't want a yes man. Okay, if you need to reach out to someone, which you might, you don't need a yes man. You don't need someone that is gonna, and then on the other end of that, you don't need someone that's gonna be super harsh.
Yeah.
You need that in between person, that person that's gonna give you solid, good advice, not angry advice because they've gone through the same thing. Ah, girl, fuck him. You know, don't. Yeah, you need somebody that has a level head. Um,
Yeah, I had when I went through my last divorce, I had a friend of mine who would just come, and we'd go on what we call KFC dates. I'd pick her up, we'd go on buy KFC, and then we'd come back to my apartment and she'd just sit there. We'd just be like, she's asexual, so there's that. But literally, she was just being there, and just her physical presence. Like, I'd be on my phone, she'd be on her phone, but she was there. I lived alone at that time. So without that, I felt the I felt being alone so much more. So when she came over, there was nothing sexual at all. Well, I think we had sex once, but like, other than that, like, there was literally no sexual activity going on. She was sitting in the chair. I am sitting in the other chair, and we're on our phones, just physically present. And then, we shout some there would be some kind of conversation at some point. She might make me laugh, but she's literally just there,
mhm.
and that helped immensely.
And a lot of times it doesn't have to be like a big full blown conversation. It can be just that support and that knowing that you're not alone, you're not by yourself. Somebody just listening to you, sometimes just getting it out. Once again, we talk about journaling, writing helps. Maybe doing some voice notes so that you can maybe listen later or something along those lines. But do things that are gonna be uplifting for you in this process. But the main thing I want people to really understand is don't stay in that depression too long, because what happens is, and we have it up here, we keep it on this show, we keep up the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Dial 988 if you feel like the walls are caving in, if you feel worthless, if you feel like you don't matter, all because one person didn't either do what they were supposed to do or didn't treat you correctly, or whatever the case may be. Remember, it's only one person. Call that 988 number. Talk to somebody. Get this out of your system. Just don't stay there too long. Don't do harm to
Seek
yourself.
professional help.
Right. Don't do harm to yourself. Um, because, you know, if you do, you never know what could have been, what your future holds, because none of us have a crystal ball.
Exactly.
So I really want people to understand that depression part, it can last a while. And if you see that it is lasting a while, or if you're around someone that you know has gone through a breakup, Be their support system, be there for them. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to bash the ex. You don't have to do all that. um, there's enough stuff going on in the guy's head or in the girl's head. There's enough stuff going on. All they sometimes, like Robert just mentioned, just being present, being the support. That's what support is. Support isn't always having something to say. It can just be your presence that is supportive of someone. It might just be um taking their mind off of it for a few hours so that they can see life does go on. Going to get something to eat, going to a movie, going dancing. Maybe they don't feel like going. Well, maybe they don't feel like going this, that, and the other. But maybe you're just so then you just sit and you're just there.
I actually had I remember I'm actually in the space I am right now in terms of being a poet and getting back into my poetry because of someone who she wasn't even in Barbados at the time. I think she was in Canada, and I was at home depressed. And what she did was she kept finding, because she's Barbadian as well, but she lives in Canada, and she kept finding events and sending them to me. Okay, maybe you could go here. Maybe you could go there. She's not in Barbados for me to go with me, but she kept sending me. And then one thing that caught my attention was this poetry open mic that I'd never heard about before. So I went, and that caught that, and that led me to where I am now as a poet. But if she didn't send me those things, again, I was home by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anybody to. I didn't have the most of my people are on my internet or on the internet. So the people that are closest to me mentally and physically and spiritually are not in my life physically. So I needed that person to. I'm not here. I can't go with you. But you know what? This is something you can do. This is and like, as you said, most of them I didn't feel like going.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, they found something that caught my attention. That poetry caught my attention. And I went, and then I loved it, and I kept going. And then I became a groupie to the guy who was doing that poetry. And now he's one of my best friends, you know? So, yeah, I feel that for sure.
And a lot of people, like I said, you don't have to be when you stay in a negative space, don't expect anything positive to happen. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. When you stay in a negative space, don't expect anything positive to happen. You have to get out of the negative space. You have to get the negativity out of your mind as well. You've got to do things to show yourself, hey, look, you know what, this is just a moment in time. This is a moment in time. And I'm not trying to um, belittle anyone's relationship or make anyone's relationship feel insignificant. What I'm saying is, you have a whole life ahead of you. You might meet someone else that treats you much better, but you're never going to know if you're stuck over here in this moment and all these other moments are passing you by. So you need that person or that friend, or try to be that friend that can be there for someone. Whether you're nowadays, we have all of this technology. Use it the right way instead of trying to world star, and this girl's fighting this girl over this guy, and he's got two other girls under. I've seen that in life. Ladies, stop it. But here you have a chance to help a friend or help an acquaintance or help somebody move forward, because grief can shut you down.
Yeah.
It can shut you down and make you feel a certain way. So it's but all of these steps, whatever order that they come in, are all leading you to accepting what has taken place. So you might have to go through these steps and maybe a couple of other ones, just depending, in order to get to the acceptance. And that's where we're all trying to get to, is accepting that my relationship didn't go as I planned. I can remember when my first husband and I split, and I went back. I moved back to Terre Haute. My furniture wasn't there. I had some furniture in the house, and I remember my grandmother had my daughter, and I tore up the house. I I was, because I had planned on being married till death do us part, because that's how I was raised. Um, but to know that my marriage failed, I felt like a failure, and it it truly bothered me in a way that I didn't expect it to. And that's where you have to give yourself some grace, because some things are going to pop up in your mind later on, and you're like, I'm a failure. My marriage failed. Nobody else in my family's marriage has failed.
Oh,
Everybody's been married till death do us part. uh,
oh,
Not me.
that was my biggest, I think, issue when I got my divorce. I come from, even though my parents have never been married to each other, they were both. My mom's been married 35 years.
Hmm.
My dad, um, and my stepmom were married for 25. When I got divorced, I didn't come from divorce.
Hmm.
Um, yes, my sister has been divorced once, but she got married again shortly after. So both my sisters are married. My brother has never been married, but he's always in a long term relationship. I've been the only one single for the last 11 years. That was hard to deal with. Coming to that acceptance and being single, and, always being the single one at the family functions, never having brought anybody home since my ex husband, that was always hard.
It is, especially when you feel like, even though maybe people don't say it, you feel this expectation. You
Hmm.
feel this expectation. Well, I'm supposed to have da 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 da, da. And sometimes it's a false safety net, um,
Hmm.
because it doesn't necessarily mean that you're happy, but everybody else thinks that, it's a way of accepting you. It's a way of, oh, okay, I feel okay with this. Everybody's not going to talk about me. I know everybody's whispering about me at the cookout because I'm not
When
married.
she gonna get a husband? When she gonna
Right,
have a kid? When she gonna? It
right,
must be something wrong with her. Why can't she keep no man?
right.
No, how
All
about it
that,
might be something wrong with the men that I'm attracted to?
and all of that is part of the pressure that comes externally and internally, that we put on ourselves, because the expectation that is out there, this false expectation that's out there, because people want to hold on to monogamy instead of seeing that there's other types of relationships where you can still be healthy and happy in those relationships. But because my relationship don't look like your relationship, there's a problem. Okay, there's a problem. It's not a real relationship.
Oh God.
You you know what I mean? It's just not a real relationship. This is just, you know, your relationship should be da 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 da, and it's not. So therefore, it's not real.
Just like there is not a manual on how to be a parent, there is not a manual on how to be a spouse.
True.
There you go. There you go. And then lastly, we're going to get to acceptance, because I think that's truly, truly an important portion of this. So, acceptance describes recognizing the reality of a difficult diagnosis. This is, once again, we're talking about death as well, while no longer protesting or struggling against it. So, when we're also talking about this, and we're talking about it from the relationship standpoint, um, we're going to talk about, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to it. My fault. Here is where you finally have accepted the breakup, and you are ready to move on. It doesn't always mean you've completely let go of your partner and that you don't experience any residual. Remember, I talked about that earlier, residual emotion. It just means you have found some peace with your situation and you are ready for the next phase in your life. And my references, just so everybody knows, this was these are a lot of the thoughts that I have on this, but I wanted to make sure that I referenced Dr. Carla Marie Manley for the relationship, and then for the death and dying is Kubler Ross, which is very very popular. The five stages, um, and so just kind of in closing, just making sure everybody understands. I hope you get something out of um, this talk, because it's very important when you're talking about not just death and dying. A lot of us experience people that have cancer, or you're also seeing not only is the person that's dying going through these stages, but also their family will go through these stages as well. And they will go through the stages while the person
It's
is
still living.
is alive. Um, and the same thing is true with our relationships. Sometimes we're in that relationship, but we know it's not working, and so we start the process of going through the fact that this relationship is not going to make it. It's not going to last. We're not going to. We've tried counseling. We've done this. We've done that. But the anger starts to fester, and more disgruntled. So just be kind of cognizant of these five stages as they apply to the death of a person as well as the death of a relationship. And this also goes for folks that are out there experiencing something like I did when it was just myself. When it's something that's life changing or life altering, like a job. Let's say you've been on your job for 20 years, and they all of a sudden say, "Hey, you know what? We're going to lay you off," that kind of thing. That happens a lot nowadays. So people still go through these stages. You're angry, you're depressed. What am I going to do? How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to get to work? Or, there's so many different things. Or how am I going to find a new job? Especially if you've been in a job for 20 years.
And when it comes to relationships, I want to say this. If the person is grieving the loss during the relationship, run.
Hmm.
Because when they get to acceptance, it's over.
Hmm. And it happens, folks. It happens. It happens. So I really hope you guys learned something today.
Yes,
I,
yes,
I think it's important. Once again, the two topics that I love talking about are sex and death and dying, of course. the top the tough topics. That's what I do. So I hope everybody got a little something out of this. And if you didn't and you want to know more, if you want a little help, or if you want somebody just to talk to about your relationship, you can reach out to myself or Mistress Purple Rain down here at the bottom. If you want to learn about some poetry, you can talk to, talk to
yes.
Robert, who has been our special guest for the past 2 weeks.
Mhm.
2 weeks. It's been wonderful having him.
So y'all could start the grieving process while they go. Because I'm going.
Yeah.
Y'all could start the grieving process now. So because I feel it. I feel it. I feel it.
He's leaving the States and going back home to Barbados, where it's, I don't know, 80, 90,000 degrees. And he's leaving the coldness,
Yes.
bull crap, of Cleveland, where he has been so over dramatic about the chilliness in the air. Okay.
It's
Possibly.
it's
Oh, wait a minute. No, no, no. What did you say it was?
mm,
He told us today that the sun was, no, yesterday he said the sun was broke
yeah, y'all sun don't work properly.
in Cleveland.
Y'all sun don't work properly. What happens is that y'all got I see the light I see the light. So the sun is working because I see the light, but there's no heat. What's There's no heat. Y'all need to carry that sun back. Y'all need to go and get a warranty, and it's probably still under warranty. Y'all need to go get another sun because that one don't work. Y'all sun ain't working. Cause yeah, that's what's happening with y'all. Y'all sun ain't working. Even today, I said it's nice and it's nice and bright and chilly as fuck. What's wrong with that? No, when I go outside in Barbados, it's be warm as well as bright. You understand? The heat is be there with the light. Heat, light. You see how that works? Heat, light, heat, light. Y'all, I don't understand what's going on.
This is what I had to listen to, y'all. I'm just saying. Cuckoo. Okay. Over here, cuckoo.
Whatever,
Look, it says it looks like Dean said I will be there in July.
You're coming to Barbados?
You be where in July, being in Cleveland?
Are you going to Cleveland or are you coming to Barbados? We'll wait for that response. Let us know which one it is. And
Oh, my boobs.
well, thank you for that.
They was calling out my bra. I don't like that. Oh, he'll be in Barbados in July.
Okay, let me see who this person is. Okay, well, you could probably hit me up. We could and I could get to meet you. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you can go to Barbados and you can complain about the heat. Like this man.
Because I'm pretty sure in July it's 1,000 degrees.
Right.
It definitely feels that way.
You can complain about the heat, like he has complained about. Talk about it's a refrigerator. As soon as I open the door,
it is not a refrigerator. Barbadian.
Y'all accustomed to it. That's why when I open the door, it feels like the fridge is this. I'm set into the fridge. That's what it feels like.
Oh, okay. It don't feel like no refrigerator. You ain't felt the refrigerator yet, sir.
He ain't even got clothes. Okay.
I said
when it's cold, it's cold.
He said he's not afraid. He's not afraid. He said heat does not bother him. Dubai is worse. Yeah, my daughter was stationed in Dubai.
Yeah,
so
unfortunately, I'll never get to experience Dubai because I'm not going anywhere where I have to cover myself up and it's 10,000 degrees outside.
You don't have to cover yourself in Dubai.
It's still 10,000 degrees. I
was kind of the same way. I did not, but right now Dubai's flooding, so they've never seen that much. They got cars floating down the road. $20 million cars just floating. Ooh, okay. Oops.
Babies.
Put a dam up. But I hope you guys really, honestly, I hope you guys really learned something from this conversation tonight. And we will be back again next week. Once again, we have to thank our special guest who didn't, he just popped on here with us. Mr. Robert Gibson. Why don't you tell everyone how they can reach you?
Right. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook. Take this down, bio.link, bio.link/passion poet. That gives a landing page where you can find me on Instagram, especially. And you can see all my books as well. The books are there. I am a multi. I have lots of books. There are about seven books in total. 4 or 5 of them are back online. What's the word I'm looking for? Rebranding. So some of them have taken them down and I'm putting them back up slowly, like changing covers and that kind of thing. So you can find them on bio.link/passion poet, or I'm a wordsmith, so I like lots of my stuff has lots of words. I did have a website, passionpoet.com, but money happened and I couldn't maintain it. So I am gonna try my best to get something like that back again, passionpoet.net or something, so you guys can find me. If all of that has gone over your head, reach out to Miss JewCee and she'll reach out to me.
I don't know why he just didn't start with that shit. But anyway.
You are now his administrative assistant too.
Right, I know. I'm like, do you know how much I charge? Anyway,
Yes, I do actually.
yeah. So once again, we will be back on again next Monday night. But we also we wanted to acknowledge our sister is not with us tonight, Miss Siren. She is taking a little break from the show. She will be back joining us soon. We are giving her her grace and her space so that she can be joining us in all her beautiful siren glory. Okay, okay. Also, if you haven't seen it and you haven't heard, EEE will be going down once again November 1st and 2nd here in Cleveland, Ohio. Next year, EEE will be in Indianapolis. So for our Indianapolis folks, we're going to be coming that direction. And the year after that, we are planning to be in Chicago. Okay. And you never know. We are working on trying to get out to LA because that's where all of our members, a lot of our members are all over. So we're going to try to hit up some of these cities and have some fun. Okay. Okay. So if you get the chance, make sure you want to tune in next Monday night. Miss Purple Rain, would you got anything going on that you want to share with our listeners?
I don't have anything coming up in May or June. This is a chill next couple of months for me. But if you follow me on Jasmine Purple Rain here on Facebook, there's information for my next event that I will be participating in the dungeon at, and that is for Kittyland from Thundercat. Those tickets are on sale. We have 20 weekend passes left, and then some party only tickets left. And then I also will be performing in the dungeon in believe it's Labor Day weekend. No, the weekend before. In the end of August for Henny B Productions. She is having a luau themed hotel takeover. So those are the two next things I got going on before, anything I got going on with my ladies. So I will be in Indy and in Ohio, July and August, doing what I do to the best of my ability with my sadistic sadism. Check me out.
She's nasty. So anyway,
I'm not nasty. I make people feel good.
you naughty. Okay, so there you go. You're naughty.
Naughty, yes.
Naughty,
Nasty,
yes.
no.
Nasty, no. Okay, she's naughty. So once again, you all, we want to also wish Robert safe travels as he travels back to
Yes.
Barbados.
Thank you.
We're going to give you traveling grace, of course. And we want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. And then we're talking about the little angel again. I will be there in August then. Okay, wonderful.
Yay!
So, we hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got a little info out of this. And make sure you come back and join us next Monday night for another tantalizing on JewCee Tales Erotic Chat. For my wonderful and beautiful co-hosts tonight, we had Mr. Passion Poet himself, Mr. Robert Gibson, in the house, and Miss Purple Rain and Miss Siren. We want to wish you all a wonderful week.
We love you, Siren.
We love you, Siren, and we can't wait for you to come back and join us. But make sure you tune in next Monday night because we will have another hot topic for you all. Ms. Purple Rain will be in the lead, so can't wait to see what she comes up with. Okay.
I'm thinking about it now.
So make sure you tune in. We start at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. 9:30 also for our brothers and sisters in Barbados, because now we on the same time.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not gonna waste any time talking about the fact y'all keep changing y'all time. That makes no sense to me.
That doesn't have anything to do with us.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
That has to do with our government.
That's the government.
Yeah,
that ain't got nothing to do with us. Okay. We just follow along.
Yes.
And then we'll be at 8:30 Central Standard Time and 6:30 for our folks out on the West Coast. So join us next Monday night for another marvelous Monday on JewCee Tales Erotic Chat. Make sure you enjoy, enlighten, and embrace eroticism. And we will see you then. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.